What's cracking with y'all? It's your boy Prince Wise, the Hustle God, aka Chief Low, the Madman, aka Michelangelo Turner. And we here. We back again. And we reaching in our combat tool bag one more again. Yes, sir, it's a cool black affair. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. LDBC only, LDBC or nothing. LDBC versus everybody, LDBC everywhere. For starters, there are three ways to support the channel, family. Three ways to support the channel. Way number one, shopusualsuspect6.com. Shopusualsuspect6.com. Get you some combat tool bag gear, some merch, as well as get some of my OG's gear. Cano Loco Sports TV. Get some of each of the usual suspect 6 gear. Support the number one way to support is shopusualsuspect6.com. Big Texas was cracking with you, cuzzo. Stephen L. the Mac. Salute, family. Salute. Way number two to support the channel is on Amazon.com. We have a financial literacy series, a 4-book series called the Hustle God series. So you can type in Hustle God on Amazon.com. You can type in Hustle God series, Michelangelo Turner. It'll all come up. Ways to support are also linked in the description below. And the third way to support the channel and support the movement is support the Code Black community here by donating in the Cash App. The Cashtag is #HustleGod Inc. Again, #HustleGod Inc. And all of the ways to support are linked in the description below. Salute. Yes, this is about to be a very special one. So, that said, welcome back, guys, for another episode of Boxing Breakdowns. This is Boxing Breakdown Interviews, and we have a very, very special guest, my OG, one of my OGs. So we'll get into that in exactly 8 minutes. For now, let's talk a little bit of actually, let's add and get to it right now. So typically we would kind of BS and talk a little bit of nonsense before we welcome the guest on, but the guest dove right in. So welcome to my OG. This will be a very special interview for you all. The myth, the man, the legend, and a very special person to me, Cano Loco Sports TV. Welcome. What's cracking with you, man?
Man, what's poppin', combat, man? What's good with you, bro?
Nothing much, man. So here we got a little series going on here. I typically have a co-host with me, Mr. Underground, but I'm having technical difficulties on my end, so he's not able to co-host with me. But this rendition of Boxing Breakdowns is the Boxing Breakdown interviews, and we try to get a little bit of everybody. So fighters, promoters, managers, coaches, and thus far we've had everything but just a manager. So why not bring in my OG for that one there? So just for starters, who are you? Where are you from?
Man, everybody know me as Cano Loco Sports. I'm with CL Management. That's a company I created. Why we having some echo, bro?
Say that again.
I'm getting some echo. You want me to get my earpiece?
Maybe I'll put on mine first, but continue because I'm not getting the echo yet.
All right, hang on, though. I got some too. We might as well both put them on, you know?
Yeah.
And me, but I'm from Puerto Rico, man. Beautiful island called Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
Y'all hang back with us, man. We gonna make this work.
Perfect. So just to keep it going while both of us are getting our headsets together, how did you get into boxing? What got you started in the boxing?
Well, man, that's a crazy thing, man. I'm always in the streets, you know, when I was growing up in Puerto Rico, you know, it's pretty rough where I came up from. And, you know, I got into a lot of trouble in Puerto Rico. And, you know, it came a point in time, man, where I had to get away from that stuff. So what I did was I joined the army. I boxed a little bit while I was in the army, so like it's a little different with me because when people tell me that you have to be a boxer to be able to talk about boxing, there is an echo. There is an echo. That's why I'm pausing.
So my headphones won't switch over in the audio, so that's probably on my end. I apologize for that. But there's
It's
not
all
not
good.
much
It's
I
all
can do
good.
about it. But I can hear you clearly. Hopefully they'll be able to hear you clearly in the playback. But you were saying you joined the army and you boxed
Mm,
for a little bit in the army. I mean
right.
the military. Excuse me.
Correct. Correct, man. And I couldn't stop getting in trouble though. That's the problem, man. Like I was in the military to get away from problems, and I got in the military and kept getting in problems. So I went to the boxing team, the army, of course, and I got a short temper, so there was an incident there where it bled out to the parking lot, and I put my hands on several people in the parking lot, man. Because and it's they gave me Article 15, took me off the team and all that other good shit. So it is what it is, man. Fuck it, Uh, I got out of the military, and a lot of the people that I ran the streets with in Puerto Rico was also in a lot of trouble. But when time I made it out of the military, they were involved in boxing somehow, some way. So trainers, managers, boxers, that kids are boxers. Let me fix that. A son of one of the dudes I ran with is boxing. So I was like, shit, I was like, well, I love the sport. I've always watched it, been involved in it. So, let me go ahead and mix myself in with it again. This time, to make some money. And Tito Ocasio is a very pivotal person in my life because, when we first linked up, he started connecting me with people, So me and him don't talk to this day, but I still got to give him credit, man, for, making the link ups for me. And so then I was like, J.M. Sierra, Juan Sierra, man, may he rest in peace. I got involved with him managing under his banner. And, I really didn't speak too much about it, but that's who I was working with, was Juan Sierra. I got a good friend by the name of Kent Cruz. He's a boxer. And he said, bro, you know so much about the sport, man. You should open a channel. So Kent Cruz, who fights at 140, is the one who got me to even start a damn YouTube channel.
Wow.
And
So real quick, cause there's a lot to unpack there, and I don't even mean to cut you off, but it's like, cause there's other questions that I have that come down the line. So you
yeah,
have experience as a boxer and at a very tough level because in the amateurs I fought some military guys. I fought some guys in the Navy multiple years in a row at this tournament that we have here in Pittsburgh. And one thing that is guaranteed is they're always in shape. They're machines. They'll outwork you no matter what. Um, but then, and that was on the boxing capacity. So you actually have experience in the ring there, and then you transitioned in a management, and you were already um, in surrounded around so many different aspects of boxing, from boxers to coaches and other people in the game. So not to skip ahead
yeah.
from there, I just kind of want to unpack that a little bit more. So transitioning out of boxing and finding your way into another role in, in boxing, what was that psychologically for you? Because some people can't let go of what they identify as, and sometimes that could get in the way of who they're destined to become, i.e., Bob Arum was never a boxer, but what if Bob Arum was trapped in the ideology that he had to be a boxer? He could never become Bob Arum, or you could never become Cano Loco. So what was that
Yeah.
transition like from the role as a boxer to finding yourself in another role in boxing?
I ain't gonna lie to you, it was easy for me because I had people like Lou Duva look at me. He wanted to turn me pro, and I flat out said no. I said I don't dedicate my life like that because it takes a lot to box. And I knew, as a knucklehead I am, I wasn't gonna be disciplined enough to do it. And, so it was easy for me to just transition out of that. I figured it's better to do this role out here, do a little bit of media and do a little bit of management. And Juan Sierra got me into the management. And the thing that happened there, I don't know if you have more questions or you want me to just slow down.
No, continue. This is
All right,
good. This is
all
unpacking
right.
here. I like this.
So Juan Sierra, I was working under his banner, and I was content doing that as long as we had several fighters only, 3, 4. More than that, it was just gonna be too much because a lot of people don't know what goes into management. When it started expanding a little bit, I talked to Sierra and I said, "Hey man, we should still to work together, but I'm gonna branch off and open up CL management, and we'll still work together, help each other's banner out." And that's what we did. And of course, I got you a pro fight. I got you started.
Several.
Uh, yeah, several fights and stuff like that. And I got a couple of ones in my back pocket that I plan to debut soon.
Absolutely.
LaShawn Cornick being one of them.
Great. Anything you can't disclose, you gotta push yourself to unleash
Yeah,
exclusives
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Any secrets you got, keep them in your back pocket. This is just really because I'm learning so much about you already, and I ain't even get through three, 4 questions yet. But I know this is real insightful for people who want to become managers, or people who would like to be in your role eventually, or other roles in boxing. And you're giving a lot of insight to that. But so when you said his name was Acosta or DaCosta, I'm sorry.
Which one? The one that
The
linked
one
me
that
up with everybody?
plugs you in with everyone?
Tito
Yes, yep.
Ocasio.
Ocasio, sorry. So, one of the questions that I have is like, how do you form your, how did you form your team, and who's involved with helping you grow? And that started a while back then, but as of where you are right now with CL management, how would you answer that question today? How did
There
you
was a
form
lot of
your
people
team, or how
involved.
are you forming your team? Sorry.
People involved in getting me going, man. Juan Sierra being the main one. Tito Casio was involved in some of the stuff that I grew in. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame that we don't talk to this day because I don't have no beef with him. You know what I'm saying? Um, Let me touch up on Tito Casio, man.
Yeah, please do.
It was a misunderstanding that we've known each other for a lot of years. His son boxes, but he hasn't faced anybody. No competition. And I made a comment to him, man. I'm like, hey, man, you're killing your son's career, man. All you having him fight is people that are drunk out coming out the bar. And that's gonna stunt his growth. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
and that's what started the fight between us. And we haven't
Keeping it
spoke
real.
since. But the thing about it is, he never put it in perspective. I never said his son sucked. I never said his son didn't have skill.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I
it's
kind
just
of
he's.
like I was upset that he got up, that way with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, because all you're doing from the outside looking in is giving a critique about his steady progression, and if you're giving him food, he's going to start to plateau. There's no steady progression at that point. So, I mean, if that caused a dispute, that really sucks ultimately, and
Yeah.
I hope that can be mended. So off the rip, like I can answer this question for you, but I'm curious to how you would answer this question. How would you describe your style and approach to boxing as a manager?
Debo. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? You already
because I
know,
would
man.
say, oh, sorry, yeah. So I would say, off the rip, Kano, from my perspective, working with him and having him manage me, he's a very honest, a very intelligent, strategic, and and I would say shark of a man, because when it comes down to being in a business that's dog eat dog, you got to have a dog in your corner. And if you don't have a dog in your corner, then your food collectively to be served up to the game. So I would say his intelligence, his ability to network and negotiate, his ability to be um, a very I guess how Floyd would say a shrewd businessman, im- immovable on the things he shouldn't be immovable on, and flexible on many other things. I think um, that's how I would describe his style or his approach to boxing, and managing. Does that sound similar to how you would articulate it for yourself?
I think so. But you know I'm ghetto, man. I put my dick on the damn table. What we gonna do?
Talk that shit. Talk that
What
shit.
we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? This what we want. This what we need back. You know. And I've been known on occasions to hang up on people when they offer me something trash. I just hang up. I don't need to talk to you. Call me back when you're serious. That's why I hang up. I'm not even going to debate with them. I'm just going to hang the phone up. Click.
And
5 minutes
there's
later,
another
they
thing.
call me.
There's another thing I would say about uh, the the converse side of you as well. The the genuine, the honest, the loyal nature that you have, and you display to the boxing world. I can I can openly say to the world that it's reciprocated back to you, because I see it. I see it tenfold in the way people speak about you, and in the opportunities that you're able to create for people like myself and others. Um, Next question: what are some of your dreams, your goals, your expectations from the sport of boxing?
Man, listen, man. None for me. I just want to bring fighters up that's going to have a productive career, man. And you know what I'm saying? As long as they're, and when I say productive career, it doesn't matter if they become champion, undisputed, or whatever. If they make a good living out of it, that's a plus for me, man. And I know that there's echo, but I don't know why. I got headphones on.
Exactly, and it's not like I have any speaker hooked up or anything like that. So I apologize about that. It's I keep it replay friendly thanks to you, so it's not going to be a long excruciating thing. Just bear with me if you can. Um,
Wait, man,
but
no other manager did as fly as I do to these events. All right, I'm just saying, bro.
hey, that's real. That's real. The flyest guy in the room, man. So, what do you feel separates you from the rest of the pack and makes you special, and unique compared to other managers in the game, besides being the best dressed?
Listen, man, this is a real big one right here. I'm loyal. I don't take money from the fighters like these other people do. What I mean by that is 10% guy. fighters out there that are getting, their managers are taking 20, 30, even 40%
Mm-hmm.
of their bag. And I just don't think that's right. With cano loco, you're only gonna be charged 10%, and you're a witness to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm loyal. I'm gonna be there with you the whole way. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can speak on that.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely can. Um, so again, I I definitely would back you up on that to say what separates you from the rest of the pack is that loyalty is next level. Because if you look at a lot of people in this game, they have a Don King mentality where they're walking in and they're walking out with the winner, regardless of how you look at it. Um, Lou DiBella being one of them. You know what I mean? People like the Lou DiBellas of the game, or the Don Kings, or the Bob Arums of the game. But do you have any stories coming up in the game that were hard learned lessons, or a situation in the sport that you wouldn't have learned, you wouldn't have become the person you are without going through that situation in the sport?
Man, the biggest thing that to learn is that there's a lot of snakes in the game. You can't trust nobody, man. I got this phrase, man, that I say the only way to live happy is to trust nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That's
mean,
real.
that's just the way it is. I'm not going to put names out there, nothing like that, because obviously I need a lot of these promotional companies still. So I'm going to leave that alone. But there's a lot of people that say something and do something different. Promise you this and then do something else.
Yeah.
So, but I know the game, so I see
Right.
it.
I feel that. What's the biggest mistake you feel you've made in boxing?
I would have to
It could be
say,
in any role. All of these questions don't just apply to you as a manager. It applies to any of the chapters in your life in the other roles you've had in the sport.
man, I had to say the worst thing I did was not go pro. Because the way these folks are now, they're scared to get in the ring, and people are scared to lose their
Yeah.
and all this talking going back and forth. I would have been one of those that let's go, let's do it. I'll fight the backyard for free. Fuck it, let's go. We're gonna find out who the better fighter is, and that's where I think I fucked up at, man. Because I can't do nothing about it now at my age.
I'm glad
Although
you
I
said
will
that
fuck
was your
Jake Paul
biggest.
up.
I'm glad you said that was your biggest mistake, because if you didn't, I was gonna say that, because if Lou Duva was looking at you, the Lou Duva was looking at you, then that says that you were a special talent. I mean, he's only dealt with the best of the best. Um, what do you love most about the sport of boxing?
Man, just the action, man. Atmosphere of it, man. It's not even about who's fighting or where we're at. It's just the atmosphere when you're in a stadium and you see all the fans and the ring walks and all that. That's what I love about it, man. It don't matter who uh, ends up with their hand raised.
Yeah,
If they willing to get in there and be dogs about it and bump heads, that's what I love.
yeah. It's a one of a kind ambiance. I would definitely agree. Like, very, a very unique experience. Like, it's not like anything else. Uh, what would you say you hate the most or dislike the most in the sport of boxing?
Ducking, ducking, man. Like
Yeah.
all these excuses about other side of the street or different promoters and bro, listen, man. Like I think you can appreciate this. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you sit down at the table, you can come to a happy medium and make a fight. I don't care if you dazzing, top rank, PBC. It does not matter, man.
Hmm.
If y'all sit at that table and both y'all agree, then we gotta fight. And a lot of people, that's the other thing I hate. That a lot of people have this misconception that these boxers are relying on their managers, promoters to get fights. Like if a fighter is not making a fight, it's because he don't want it. If let's say for example, man, if Shakur, let's go with Shakur since he's my favorite fighter. If Shakur wants to fight Devin for Undisputed, he needs to tell Jay Prince and Bob Arum and say, I don't want shit else. Y'all work for me, make this motherfucking fight.
Yeah.
And we could do that with Tank and the rest of them.
Agreed.
You make it, if Combat comes to me and said, I want that fight, all right, fuck it. I'm going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. That's a great
So,
answer. That's a great answer, OG. So what keeps you committed and going through the toughest times in that you've had in this sport?
man, I got this, man, it's going to sound fucked up, but I don't give a fuck. So I just keep doing me, man. Like, I don't give a fuck what's going on around me. You know, I'm just going to keep pushing, man. People talk here, people talk there. I keep it moving, man. As long as you don't come in my face, we good.
Mm-hmm. So what's next for you inside the sport of boxing? You kind of hinted at that with one of your upcoming fighters, hint, hint, lady fighter. Uh, but yeah, what's next for you inside the sport of boxing, and also what's next for you outside of the sport of boxing? Like, do you have any hobbies, or, well, I know you have hobbies, but are there any other things that you're focused on outside of the sport as well?
Well, as far as inside the sport, I want to get LaShawn Cornick every fight she can get, man. I believe she's going to be a champion. I'm going to
Real
do
quick,
everything in my power for that.
for those who don't know, please give us a refresher and introduction on Miss LaShawn.
LaShawn Cornick is a special talent, man. I love that. I love that girl to death, bro. Like, I'll give her the shirt off my back, man. For real, man. Uh, she can fight at 154, 160, or 168. She makes all three of those weights whenever she wants. You know, she's tall for her weight class, has an educated snap and jab that most of the time people can't even get around it when she fights them. You know? And I just truly believe she's a talent, bro. That's a hidden gem, and I'm telling you, when people see her, that's a future champion, bro. You know? And she gives, hey, all my loyalty is gonna be with her too. Excuse my dog and shit.
Oh no, you good. My dog is right next to me, staring at me
Yeah.
crazy.
Hold on.
Take your
Man,
time.
shut your ass up, man.
So that's inside of boxing. So outside of boxing, and also that's one of many of your house of dogs that you got as far as killers in this boxing game. So she's one of many that you have on your team that you can speak of. But that's in boxing, and you also have more like fights coming up as well that you can speak on. But we'll get to that as well. But outside of boxing, talk to me about what you got going on outside of boxing, or what's upcoming next for you outside of boxing.
Man, outside of boxing, man, I just living life, man. You know, I done lived my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So I'm just enjoying life. That's all I want to do, just enjoy life, bro.
Good. Good. I like to hear that, man. I like to hear that. Do you have any upcoming shows that you have fighters on that you want to speak on, or is that something held for like to be announced? Because if it's to be announced, we can wait.
To be announced.
Definitely, definitely. Now, before I let you go, um, I gotta ask, man. So, on as far as these fights that we're getting in this year, I feel like this is a special year in boxing. We're getting a real big special year in boxing. A lot of activity from a lot of great fighters. We got the J Rock and Adames fight tonight. We got Lubin versus Cuz. I forgot his name. And then we got Cool Boy Steph versus Anyway coming up. So your thoughts on just just those few fights and your overall thoughts on what we've gotten and what we're getting this year.
Man, this has been a phenomenal year. I don't know why people are complaining.
Yeah,
We
it's been
get
an
some
excellent
great
year in
fights. You
boxing.
know what I'm saying? I mean, but apart from what you named there, the ones that intrigue me the most is Spence Crawford and Cool Boy Steph and Inoue.
Yeah,
And I do believe Scooter's gonna beat Inoue. I do believe that, bro.
me too.
But yeah, I mean, I thought everybody said PBC was broke. What happened to that?
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
thought
if
Bray
they
knew
was
it.
broke, I don't know if they could have ended up with that Canelo Charlo situation. You feel me? I don't know if they could have
Mm,
finalized purses in boxing. I mean, take a lot of money to be able to pay a motherfucker like that. So I see what
yeah,
you're saying
man.
there.
I
But
mean, I tell everybody
so
all the time that you can't really pick and choose these promotional companies because they all got their good, they all got their bad.
mhm, that's actually a great point, man. So sorry to everybody. We couldn't acknowledge individually who came through. Like button, much love. Um,
Hey, hey, hold
OG,
up.
tell them. Yeah.
D-Man Jr., yeah, that's the one that calls me Mr. Willie.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Hey, so I like to keep it replay friendly. That's one of the things I got from my OG here. So I like to keep it short and sweet. He's been dealing with a torturous echo this whole time. My apologies, bro. Um, but tell them where they can find you, how they can support, all that good stuff.
Man, Connor Local Sports on all platforms. That's YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I think I got a TikTok too, but I don't hardly get on it. So, that's it, man. Y'all know where to find me, man.
Facts, facts. There was another question actually I had too that I had
Yeah.
skipped over. So you
No, I
said
ain't
you don't
never
have any
lost.
goals, huh?
Never lost in case you was gonna ask that. No, man, I'm undefeated, bro. But go ahead.
Hey yo, no, you funny. No, I would have never asked that. It was the fact that you ain't. You said you're basically a selfless individual, and that's honorable. Like you don't really have any real goals in this sport besides the have fighters have fruitful careers. But what would when it's all said and done in your involvement in the sport and in people's lives, uh, what is your like end game, your bigger picture, like when you could kick your feet up and you said you've done it all in the sport of boxing? What does that look like for you?
Man, it's gotta be managing a world champion, man. Gotta be, man. Like that's the pinnacle right there, man.
Yeah.
I got a champion under my stable, man. I like to be able to pass my management company and make it grow. I like to have my brother, like to have my son, my daughters, let them get involved in it in the long run. Because, I'm not going to be here forever, man, and I wanted to live on.
I love to hear that. You're talking about generational wealth. You're talking about something that's an empire, that's family oriented, and then you're talking about managing fighters at the highest level in the game. I like to hear that. That's aspirational, and in your case, I wouldn't say it's aspirational to manage a world champion. I see you having multiple. But that said, we're gonna keep it short and sweet. Oh, sorry.
Mike Biggs has a question.
Oh, answer, please. I've been missing the chat this whole time. Sorry, guys.
Well, Mike Biggs, this not something for the weak at heart. I'm going to tell you that right now. But each state is different. You got to get your manager's license, though. I don't know what the requirements are in your state, like they are here in Florida, but that's the first step you got to do is get the manager license. Those licenses are only good for a year. You have to renew it every year. So that's an expense. And also, you have to have money because sometimes you're not going to have B-side fighters, and there are going to be times where you got to put up the purse. So that's the part that nobody really talks about and tells you, but it costs money to bring a fighter up.
Facts.
And
That actually inspired a question. Mike Biggs, that was a very good question. I'm sorry to everybody whose questions I missed. After a while, the chat just don't pop up if you ain't like swiping along. But yeah. So, what advice would you give to young managers coming up in the game, or even young coaches coming up in the game? Because you just gave some insight there, seeing that it does take money to bring up
yes,
fighters, and a lot of people overlook that. So, what advice would you give to a manager or a coach?
make sure the managers, the coaches are in a different area, but the managers, make sure you got money set aside to bring a fighter up. And the best thing I can tell you, Mike, is start with one fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Bring that one fighter up. It's going to be a lot easier to bring one up than to bring multiple.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, it's going to take money in the beginning.
Yeah.
So if you focus on one fighter, and that's all you got to worry about, slowly build it. Slowly build it. Slowly. You know? And you got to really know how to negotiate, though. These people will undercut you and give you some bad offers. And if you don't know how to game, like let's say, go ahead and disclose this. Why not, man? Let's say Combat Toolbag goes in there for a fight. They usually try to offer $400 to $500. If you don't know no better, you're gonna say okay. Now I want you to ask Combat Toolbag and all those fights he had. I guarantee you he made more than that. You know, and you have to. You can't burn no bridges. This is one thing with the promoters. You have to know promoters in order to be able to get, slide in on the low. Some of these cars ask for a booking fee. So you got to put like I said, you have to have money, which is why I recommend one fighter. And there's nothing wrong with just one fighter. Look, Jordan Maldonado, who is Amanda Serrano's manager, that's all he did was work with Amanda Serrano. He's a millionaire now. You don't need a bunch of fighters.
That's a fact.
So work with one, man, that you just work with one. It doesn't matter if they're A side or B side. And always be loyal to them.
Man,
Me,
bro, I can go on, and my gears are turning in my head for different questions to ask you. But again, I want to respect your time. You are my OG, and you are a busy man. So I appreciate you coming by. You can hit the X in the corner after you give your closing words. Um, After that, I'm just going to show them just a reminder on how to support the channel. But I appreciate you for coming through, and we got to do this again.
yeah, man, no doubt about it, man. I just appreciate everybody who tuned in, who had some good questions for me as well, man. Appreciate the love, man. That's all I got, man. But shout out to the mighty LGBC. Got on local
Deuces.
sport, man. I'm out.
So that's my OG, and there you have it, people. Just like we did before, we have another boxing breakdown interviews. Um, this was with a boxing manager, somebody very very special to me. Gave me several experiences I wouldn't have been able to have on my own. So very grateful to that man, and I hope this interview was insightful, just like the rest, but because it's someone that's in the family for a lot of you guys who came through, and I appreciate y'all coming through. Uh, I thought this would be good to give some insight into the game from an industry insider who's also a family member of ours. So that said, there are three ways to support the channel, family. Three ways to support the channel. Way number one, shopusualsuspect6.com. Shopusualsuspect6.com. Get you some combat tool bag merch. Get you some OG Cano local sports TV gear. Get you some Usual Suspect 6 gear, of course. Shopusualsuspect6.com. That's way number one. All of the ways to support her are linked in the description below. Way number two, the Hustle Guide series. We have a 4-book financial literacy series on. Sorry, I just seen a troll in the chat. It kind of distracted me. We have a 4-book financial literacy series on Amazon.com. You can type in Hustle God series on Amazon.com. You can type in Michelangelo Turner on Amazon.com and you'll find a 4-book series there. And way number three, you can sponsor a creator or sponsor an athlete by diving in the Cash App. The Cashtag is #HustleGodInc. That's #HustleGodInc. You've successfully reached in your combat tool bag one more again. And till next time, y'all, I really appreciate all the love. I really appreciate all of y'all coming through. And I hope this was replay friendly, short, sweet, and to the point. But again, until next time, deuces.